Hey, Steve Stine here. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at a pedal by Tech 21. It's the SansAmp PSA 2.0. Now what makes this pedal super cool is it's very, very small and it has a lot of versatility in tone. But it's very, very straightforward. It just has a lot of options for being able to dial in a sound. Now the pedal itself is great because you can actually use it as a preamp. You can use it as a stomp box, a pedal, right? Or what you can do is you can use it to run directly into a PA or into an audio interface, which is what I'm doing today, just running it direct into my audio interface. So before we get into the sounds, let's just kind of look at the ins and outs here. So the first thing, I'm running into the pedal right there, and then I'm running out with what's called a TRS cable, a tip ring sleeve cable. And when I come out of that, it's splitting into two inputs that go into my audio interface. So the first input is getting all the signal right here from the pedal. And the second input, because of this TRS cable, is running without the speaker simulation, which is built right into the pedal. So if you look at this button right here, you can turn off the speaker simulation right here. When I run that TRS cable, it's running a second channel, and I like to do that because then what I can do is when I'm done recording or anything like that, I could go back and use what's called an impulse response and change the tone by adding a different cabinet simulation sound, if you know what that is. You don't have to do that. I'm just saying that that's something you could do. So you could run directly out of here, just run one input into your audio interface or whatever it is that you're doing, and you're done. But for this, it makes it great because it gives me that option. So if I go back and I listen to my recording and I go, I like that, but I'd like to change something, I can always go to that second channel and I can add my own impulse response. Now the second thing, and really the thing that got me interested in this in the first place, is that it had this King's X bass tone in it. And I got to thinking, wow, that's really cool. You could use the pedal for both guitar and for bass. So if you think about it, if you needed to go into the studio really quick or you needed a backup for the road or whatever it might be, it's a very small pedal that can fit, again, into a gig bag or anything like that and give you a variety of those tones. So when I made the jam track that you heard before this video, the tones that you're hearing are directly out of the pedal itself. And it's using the King's X bass tone, of course. But that's it. So I didn't do any EQing or anything like that. The only thing I did was I added a little bit of reverb on the solo channel, but the rest of it is just the direct sounds right out of it. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's just talking about the front part of this pedal here. All right, so let's just start with some of the things we see here. We see the down, the active / search, and then the up buttons here. So the down button is obviously going to send the presets lower. And we'll talk more about these presets in a little bit. The up, of course, does just the opposite. Now, this active and search button, what happens is if I click this button, you're going to see that that starts blinking. So let's say I was playing and I needed to get to a different sound that I like. So I wanted to go to this sound. Now, with this depressed like this, what happens is you'll see it's still blinking. I'm still on the first preset. And it won't engage until I'm ready. So if I'm getting ready for a solo or something like that, now I press this button again. Now it's engaged into number 20, you see? So let's say I wanted to go back, and again, if I start just pushing this, you'll notice that the sounds are going to change. You see? But if I was here, and I want to go to a distortion sound, right, and I'm getting ready for, in my song, I'm playing on stage right now or whatever it might be, I can hit this, and then I can go down to the sound that I want. Let's say I go to 7, and I'm playing, and here comes the part that I need, so I hit this button, and we're in. So it's really convenient to have this active in search button here for that reason. Now if we move on, we've got the level, which is the overall volume, the high and the low, which are EQs, and I believe they're plus and minus 18 dB is what they are, okay? And then if we move on, we're going to get to these in just a second. The trim is the overall volume for all of the presets, which is really great, like a global preset or global volume control, if you will. And then here's our cabinet simulation that we talked about. If we want to save something, we can press this twice. It'll save the sound that we've created. Now let's get into all of this, which is really, really interesting, okay? Right here, you've got your gain and your drive, okay? And then you've got these other 3 buttons here. Now the gain acts like a preamp breakup. The drive is kind of like the power amp distortion. And then there's these 3 things which are really interesting. The buzz, the punch, and the crunch. Now the buzz is like a low end breakup or overdrive. The punch is mid-range, and the punch is mid-range, and then the crunch is the top end. So you can just get a whole host of different sounds here. Let's say I took this, and I'm just going to level these out here for you so you can just hear everything. Now, as I start moving things, you'll see it'll start blinking because I'm editing. So I'm just going to put those all at 12 o'clock. So the first thing, let's dial in a little bit of drive here. And then I'm going to go over here to the gain, the preamp sound. Kind of dial that in where I want it. And then I'm going to move to the low, mid, and high sort of breakup sections and see what I can do there. Now, let me show you what this sounds like. That there's a low end that going on there. Maybe I'd use that more for bass or something like that. That doesn't really give me a sound that I'm really going to be able to work with. If we move to the punch, the mid-range, that's definitely something I could work with. And then the high end, which is pretty much a perfect tone there for me. But everybody's different. And then we've got our low and high here, just our overall EQ. Which I don't know that I would really need much of at that point, but that's how it works. That's as easy as it is. And then all I need to do is save this, and I'm good. Now saves my sound, and I'm ready to go. Okay, and I can, again, press the down and up to go to a different sound, or if this is my main sound, I don't have all the presets memorized here, but let's say I was going to go to number 9, which is clean. So I'm on 7, and I need to get back to a clean tone, but not quite yet. I just set myself up so I'm prepared, and then I hit it with my foot. And now we're in a clean sound. So that's really all there is to it. Now there is 2 different kinds of modes that you can run this in. You can run it in this, or you can run it in what's called performance mode. And with performance mode, what happens is you take 3 of your favorite sounds and you assign them to the buttons 1, 2, and 3. So let's say you're playing on stage and you don't need all of these different sounds. You really only need a couple, 3 different sounds. You can run it in that mode and just have maybe your clean, your crunch, and your lead tone or whatever it might be. And that's all you need, and you're set up and ready to go. So you can switch it to that as well. Now this pedal comes with 49 preloaded presets, and there's 77 available memory locations. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the sounds of this. Now I'm going to pull up my little guide here just so you can kind of hear these. So what's cool is the first 10 presets in here are kind of designed after a Marshall style sound, and then the next 10 are the next 10 in the sequence are Fender, and then the next 10 are Mesa Boogie, and then the next 10 are bass, and then there's just a miscellaneous bunch. So what's cool about it is it makes it really easy. So if we wanted to just look at more of the Marshall-y kinds of sounds that they have in here, again, all very easy to use. So let me go back just for a second here. So like this first one, it has listed as a plexi. The next one is vintage. The next one is Schenker. You can really hear that high end in there. Okay, JMP1. 5 is the high gain, which I really like that one. 6 is the Blues Breaker. 7 is the Hendrix. Now, whether or not they're exactly the same, of course, that's up to interpretation, but it just gives you an idea. Number 7, whoop. There we go. Number 8. Number 8 was it says Van Halen. Again, very easy to use. And then 9 is our classic clean. Now, the pedal doesn't come with delay or reverb or anything. I'm running this just absolutely dry into my audio interface so you can hear everything. And that's all that's happening here. So now we move on. We move to number 10, and now we're dealing with the Fender sounds. Okay, then move to B.B. King, Stevie Ray, and again, it goes on and on and on, but I don't want to take the whole time and run through every single preset here, but here's number 20, which is the Mesa Boogie styles. So it says Mark 1. And the next one says Metallica. You can hear that. Overdrive there. Santana, this one's called. This one is clean. This one is rectifier. And so on. And then when I get to the 30s, I'm dealing with bass tones. And then when you get up into the 40s, then it's just a whole variety of different things. So what I think makes the pedal really cool is, again, number 1, it's very versatile. Number 2, it's very small, so it's very easy to bring as a backup rig or something like that. Or if you just have to do a quick recording somewhere, instead of bringing all your stuff, you could just bring this, and it would be very easy. The next thing I think is really cool about it is just the fact that you have this variety of sounds that you can start with. So instead of having a blank slate, you could just grab something that you really like. Now watch this too. I should show you this. If I hold the down button, it cruises through so I can find something very quickly. So if I went back down to 7, for instance, which is just a kind of a perfect tone for me, I could start with that and then build off of that and tweak it as needed. But you have these 40 different presets that sound really great, and they would be usable by a variety of different people. So you can find one that you really like and then tweak it a little bit, save it, and you're ready to go. So hopefully that helps you a little bit with understanding this pedal and see if it's something that you might be interested in, if it would fit any needs that you're into. But like I said, what I think is really cool is just the fact that we can use it for many different things, whether it's running in front of an amp, whether we're running it into a PA, whether using it as a backup amp, whatever it might be, or a travel amp. Maybe you're like me and you travel a lot and you need something that you can bring on the road that's just very consistent. And if you're traveling like in an airplane and things like that, you can't always bring all of your stuff with. So it's nice to just have something very small and reliable that has the tones that you need. So anyway, take care, stay positive, and I'll talk to you soon.